this nice hot morning. Today we're looking at this Craftsman LT1000. It's having some definite issues. I'm going to show you why every time I do an estimate, I go ahead and pull the blades off, and what you should look out for to make sure you don't make this same mistake on your mower, whether it be a riding mower or a push mower. Go ahead and first off like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. When I went to remove these blades, the very first thing I noticed, these are push mower blades. These are bow tie blades, and these are Craftsman AYP riding mower blades. They're not the same. Even though these say that they're a 21-inch blade, and they are, they're not meant to go. This bow tie is not meant to go on that 5-point star. You can see all they did was crank them down as tight as they could and went ahead and ran with them. So they've been spinning both on the star and they've been unlevel. I guarantee you they're not cutting level at that point. So they've not only ruined the spindle shaft where we need to replace this, or we need to, sometimes people will go around it with a Dremel and try to get it back out. 9 times out of 10 that doesn't work well though. There's still some slop in there and you can't get them 100% balanced again. Make sure you're using the right blade for what your application is. There's a big old lip here. If you can take your fingernail or if you can take a screwdriver under it and there's a lip, that's an issue. There should be no lip at all. If there is a lip, that means that spindle has been smashed at one point or another by something. Do not use it if that's the case. As we're taking a look at just some of the used ones we have here, you can see just how bad these actually are, how bad that it gets smashed down on. It's the same with, this is a John Deere spindle. You can see they're all smashed down because somebody put the wrong size blade on that. You can't just go get something that fits the hole and clamp that down on there. That's not right. First off, there's play in it. Second off, it's not going to fit level. It's going to clamp that down and eventually it could come loose or fly off. When you're going to put your blades on, what you want to look for, you want to look that this blade is all the way sit down on the inside and it's against the back of this base. It should be level with this mass of metal at the backside. There's no reason it shouldn't be against that 100%. No need to washer it up or anything like that. If you're using washers, that's not a good idea. That you should not have to use any sort of adapter in order to get your blade to go. I do not use aftermarket or universal blades, of any sort. The universal blades just never seem to fit right and they don't work like they should. If I try to put this down on here, it seems like it fits, but one side or the other is always up. It's not gonna be even once you secure it on there. Could you go ahead and impact this down and make it go on there? Possibly on this one. On the other ones, it's not even a possibility. It's never gonna be level. It's never gonna go against the back. It's always gonna sit one side or the other. And these, even though this has 6 points as far as the stars go, that's not gonna be the same as the AYP 6-point. They do not match up. You cannot use those interchangeably. They're different. These have kind of more of a V to them, and these are more small. They've just got little notches, more gear-like as opposed to this design. Also the same with the AYP. That's 5 points for the star, and they're more rounded. They're not anywhere close to that. Some of the other ones you have, like Toro, they've got just a round to them. But do not use something like that either. If it doesn't fit right, it could spin independently of the shaft, and that's not a good thing. That means it could back itself off. It can back that bolt out if it's able to spin against there. That's why you want it locked in. I see a lot of these newer ones. People are doing kind of the same thing with these. These are the newer Cub Cadet design. I don't know what they call these, but you want that to lock fully in. Don't use anything other than the blade that is meant for it. Otherwise, you're in for big trouble. These, when you're looking at them again, they should be a big mass of metal there. They should not be all folded over and everything. They shouldn't be like this. They should not be to the point where there's nothing left, and they shouldn't be all chopped up. If they're all chopped up and there's a bunch of play there when you put them on, that's not going to be good either. So that'll go down on there. This one had bad bearings, I think. But you can see just how much play is actually there when you're moving it. That's not a good thing. You want it to be perfectly centered on that shaft to prevent vibration, which will wear out the bearings very quickly. When it comes to push mower blades, it's the same thing. There's many different adapters on these push mowers that have different things. Again, this is a bow tie, like what they had on this riding mower. It's supposed to be what this blade goes in, or what the blades that came off of it go in. Now there's many different designs. This here is meant for just a circle design, something like this, where it goes on there and locks in. And then the bolt has a good contact around the middle. Now if you put this blade on there and then tighten your bolt down, oh, that one doesn't fit on there. If you put this blade on there and tighten your bolt down, you're barely gonna have any contact with just these little tips. And if anything happens at all, that bolt could back out also. You just never know. You want the right blade for the application. Look up your blade number based on the model number. If not, take the old blade in if you know that it's the right blade. Very easy to do. Just because this here design will fit, now this is a push mower blade, but just because a riding mower blade that has the same design will fit, this one's actually basically the same size. Now would that technically work on there, even though it's not for a push mower? Yeah, it probably would. Probably wouldn't have any issues, but you still don't want to do that. You don't know for sure. Unless you know for sure that that blade is going to work for that application and that it's going to be right and stay tight, do not use it. And don't make the mistake of trying to just jam any old blade somewhere that it doesn't belong. That's not going to work out good for you, and it's going to end up costing you more money than running down the road and grabbing a new one. One of the very most important things is that you let the customer know exactly what needs done before it needs done, because customers normally don't take kindly to you calling them back after they've approved something and tell them, hey, you're going to need a spindle shaft, or you're going to need a new spindle or new blades or things like that. If you check everything else out first, it only takes a couple seconds to jack it up and take the blades off. Then you can let them know right off top, hey, this is what we have going on. You wouldn't know though if you didn't take those blades off first to investigate. That's why we always do that, and make sure that the customer knows what they're getting themselves into before they approve other repairs. We see a lot of other companies around, they'll do all the other work, pull the blades off, and hey, they've got to call and let the customer know at that point that they need some additional work. And customers are very prone to not liking that. They're very, very sketchy, I would say, towards somebody telling them they need a bunch more work after they're already deeply invested in something. Be upfront with the customer, try to estimate everything you can and tell them the overall health of their mower before you start doing a bunch of work to it, regardless of whether they just say they want a small scope of work done. We get people all the time that'll bring it in and say, hey, I just need new blades, or I just need a new belt. Well, I can put that belt on you provided, but what about the bad spindles? This belt's just going to shred as soon as you start mowing with it. Do you want us to replace that also? Otherwise, you put that belt on, you send it back out, don't say anything about it, and then it's your fault because you put the belt on wrong, even though ultimately it was something that they asked you to do and exactly how they asked you to do it. We always try to be holistic with our views on equipment and try to relay all that information to the customer as best we can. When dealing with lawn and garden equipment, small engine repair, you've got to realize that these blades spin at a very fast pace with a lot of force. Now, if you do not know that that blade is going to stay on there, that's an issue. Make sure that you choose the right blade, install it properly, and make sure it's completely tight before you try to operate it. Otherwise, big issues are sure to come. Hopefully this helps somebody out and saves somebody some time or some money overall. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed our content.